that resonance gives me such synthesis to move from, resonance, such a good vibration. Greetings, my name is Michael Miller. This is a Michael Miller trademark training video out to you because you're watching. Thank you and welcome. It's meant for Michael Miller Pilates licensed affiliates, the Core New Core, and anyone interested in surviving and thriving as a Pilates instructor or a student. 3 things today. Number 1 is that Core New wants to meet you. Core New wants to meet you. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? My trademark is often called Core New, but my trademark isn't just an art design. To me, it's an identification of core new tension in our body. It points to oppositional rotation between axes. Okay? So, that experience, core new, that oppositional rotation between axes, if I have something to pull the curtain aside and share with you, it's an awareness of core new tension in your body. And so why is that? Because it lightens your load. Core new tension distributes the load of your body. And the more you engage in it, core new tension, the more efficiently the load of your body is distributed within itself. That's my point of view. That's my opinion. So the other thing, there's always, when it comes to core new and core new tension, right, it boils down to, for me, so that you can at least know what it boiled down to for me, is distribution of load, meaning the weight of your body, by how you engage your muscles. The more the engagement and the way they're engaged make a difference in how the weight of your body is distributed. And the second thing is that tension between endpoints makes alignment sensational. So number 2 is in my opinion. That's the title, in my opinion. In my opinion, biology matters. It's hard not to find myself as a human being and not think that biology matters, because it seems that biology is me. To some extent, to some point, I hear all waves of people standing up to say, well, but, yeah, okay. And I go off and lose my direction of thought. In my opinion. Oh, in my opinion, biology matters. Because I am biology, whatever else I am, or whatever more than that I am. But the me that I'm looking at or considering as a Pilates instructor has to do with a human being and themselves. Maybe that's the being part of it, the biology part of it. So in my opinion, being matters. Biology matters. And in my opinion, physics matters. Because the biology just doesn't really make whatever it wants. At least not within enough of a time frame to not have it matter how aware you are of the physics that you're in. Because if you ignore the physics that you're in, that can lead to pain and death. See? It's the death, the lack of survival, that is the clarity of what Pilates is. Well, Pilates comes from a survivor, and Pilates is survival training. And it's the physics of the world that our biology finds ourselves in, that Joe expresses this choreography that is a direct response to the nature of the reality we find ourselves in. And its characteristics, both in reality and ideally, that in the real is the ideal. And in the choreography and in the movement, that we talked about this yesterday, the pursuit of the movement, right? The pursuit of the purity of the movement, and the purity being the ideals within what's identified in Joe's choreography of the sequence of his mat, progressive patterns of movement, right? And so biology matters, physics matters, in my opinion. And within those two areas, MMP is a theory that explains Pilates as an ideal. Tries to explain the ideal within what's already there. And so it's Joe's ideal, it's not mine. It's Joe's message, it's not mine. But when you understand, or at least have the point of view of Joe's message as an ideal, it gives you great foundation and confidence in what you pick to do next with, or even how you observe what you're looking at in order to pick what you choose to do next. And so that comes to number 3. And number 3, the title is 9 is a special number. The last number before a transition to 10, where it's now 2 digits to represent a number. See what I'm saying? From 0 to 9, it's all singular digits. And so in that way, it's the completion of a cycle before the transition, right? And 9 is, and as the completion of a cycle, or as the having reached a place where transition follows after, I think is part of the symbology of the hermit in the tarot cards holding out the light from from what I envision as the peak of their experience that has built up underneath them from the course of going from 0 to 9, and it's in the completion of that cycle that one holds out one's light that comes from the position established by the experience that built up underneath it. That's pretty good, huh? Don't you like that? And in that regard, seeing the 9 as the hermit and a point of view, or just holding out light, see? I think Pilates emanates a light of its own, and all I am doing in MMP is projecting a point of view of Pilates that points to that light that's there on its own, established by Joe, complete, message delivered. Because there is an essence to what is already there in Joe's original work, from Joe, of Joe. You know, everything, my stuff included, is all of it is derivative. But my point of view is all of it is derivative from that established essence. Maybe I need more sound effects in my delivery. So, in summarizing what just went by, my notes say it's all about observing. It's all about observing. And that just has to fall back into, this is just one point of view of Pilates among thousands and thousands. But in the complete coordination of body, mind, and spirit, MMP considers or reaches for the complete coordination of being, thinking, and observing. And that's not complicated. It may be slippery to get a hang of the differences between those three capacities within the human being. But the key point, I keep hopefully saying this, is the Pilates instructor looks for a coordination of the three capacities, no matter how imbalanced they are among themselves. If you're all being, or all thinking, or all observing, or two and none of the other, or one and none of the other two. See, the thing about Pilates is this state of being in the body in the moment of the doing that has a complete coordination of those three capacities. Core new tension all by itself, I mean, using your imagination or your knowledge, really. You don't need imagination once you know about it, and once you know how to do it. It's not hard once you know how to do it. And in knowing how to do it, meaning engaging in core new tension, you take an understanding in your thinking and convert it to a way you engage your body that gives you a more uniform distribution of the weight of your body and a sense of alignment of your body and gravity. Maybe just alignment in your body, because when you make core new tension, when you make stretch, there's a sense of alignment in that, whether you're in gravity, whether you're lined up in gravity or not. See, that's what I'm saying? So that when you do the swan and you go out with a straight body somewhere, that straight body is straight by virtue of your endpoints lining up on that line. And because they do, you're achieving the most uniform engagement you can from the muscularity that you have. Or don't. Depends on what we have, right? Know what you know. Know what you know. And how to survive in a world where anything beyond thinking might seem threatening to a student. You know, Pilates works and Pilates takes time. And the great thing about Pilates, it's all about moving, and moving is sensational. And the more fun you have is usually an indication of how sensational it was. And to the extent that the sensation is resonating to uniform eccentric loading, flowing through progressive patterns of movement, then wherever you go and whatever comes out of you as a creative instructor, you will at least know the vibe established by Joe himself. And from the MMP point of view, looking at his definition, his promise, and his sequence, you can get to a point of view that is ideal in nature and sensational, meaning you can feel it. So know what you know. Pass it on, because life doesn't live forever. And read between the lines. See behind the curtain. Who's reading? Who's seeing? Evaluate different points of view. Recognize that all you ever are going to really have with Pilates is a tradition and that has points of view to it. And then other points of view that come from different places, like money and like ideals, and that they will hold their sway in the culture as well. It's easy and comfortable for me to say that thinking is prefrontal cortex and observing is amygdala, hippocampal, primitive reptilian areas of the brain that feed into the thinking part of the human being. Meaning see, it's a human being. It's a complete unit. And so just thinking of being, thinking, and observing, or body, mind, and spirit as different things, aren't we just making a distinction in character within the whole? So with MMP, this is old for you now, but this is 999. This is my 999th day of broadcasting since I started this routine. And from this point of view, I never would have dreamt I'd have gotten to a cycle where I was going into 4 digits. So I would say that, to me, stands as something to learn from about how important routine is and how much maybe it supports you more than you support it, and the energy that you use to support your routine, the routine helps you right back in supporting you to do it. I know that's circular and evaluate perspectives. And it looks like I'm headed out on a tour to invite, Cornu and I are headed out on a tour to invite people to our convention, summer solstice. Should be interesting this year, because it's always interesting, because it's a moment in time that goes by. We're observing has mattered to entire civilizations for their survival because of the timing of when they plant their crops and being able to recognize when the solstice occurs. Okay? Evaluate points of view. Come take in Lost Gulch Overlook. It's not the same at all. It's a rock outcropping. It's not Machu Picchu, but it Boulder in general, I think, is the Machu Picchu of North America. And this rock outcropping is a great view. From which observing is so abundant, or there's so much to observe, but observing, right? And that by observing you can see stuff happens that gives you the ability to anticipate and then take action based on your anticipation, like when to plant the crops. So once you've evaluated different points of view, get a PayPal me account, and it's a PayPal me, what is it? PayPal.me/michaelmillerpilates. And instead of Michael Miller Pilates, that could be your keyword. And so all you have to do is send someone this link of paypal.me/your name or whatever, and that's a way to get paid. It's the way I'm hoping on or planning to, leading on the way I want to be paid as I go out on tour, if anybody wants to buy anything. And if they don't, they at least have the invitation and they know how to participate in the event from wherever they are. Add 2 and 2. Direct your thinking. Geist.